Om. Namaste everyone. I don't see Neelakantan ji today. I think he's not there. Anyone want to recite or say something? Sing a bhajan or recite a poem? Hello Raj. Namaskar. Namaskar.
Namaskar. I will sing something that I was humming on the way back from the retreat. So
Yeah, beautiful.
let's see how it goes. It's in English, okay?
Yeah.
In my darkness you are Shiva. In my light and in the dark you are Shiva. Without form, without space, you are Shiva. In my sorrow, in my pain, you are Shiva. In the light, in the day, you are Shiva. Without you and without me, you are Shiva. In my sleep and in my dream, you are Shiva. I don't know when, where to go. You are Shiva. I don't want to be afraid. You are Shiva. Without love and without pain, you are Shiva. With everything and nothing, you are Shiva. In my sorrow, in my pain, you are Shiva. In the sun and in the rain, you are Shiva. I don't know when I know you are Shiva.
Beautiful, beautiful. Very nice. Yeah, it reminds me during our retreat when you sang and sang and sang, and then there was no voice coming out. Beautiful. So beautiful. Mm. We can also do, one day we can just prepare songs and we can just do the bhajans and songs. That can be also nice,
Yeah.
Because, look, the whole idea, the whole thing is just remembering. You can remember in silence, you can remember in satsang, you can remember with bhajans, and you can remember in kirtan. Everything is about remembrance. And that remembrance is beautiful. You can call it a practice also, or appreciation also, reverence also. Um, if you see, Anyone who is looking to know the essence in us, which we call Shiva, or the one who has already known that essence called Shiva, what both of them do? They always remember. Before you remember, after you remember or not, he remembers through you all the time. So it is mysterious, but it is, for a seeker, sometimes things looks like it is in his hand. He's remembering, he's doing japa, he's doing practice, he's doing self-inquiry. But actually all that is happening through that only. It is making sure that this body mind is doing that, because it wants that body mind to come back home. And once you come back home, then you are at home, then the remembrance is continuous. It never stops, whatever is happening. So you live in this world, but you don't live like before. It is a different energy. Ego energy is very different, and Shiva's energy is very different. It is Shiva's energy, I will say, is a different type of madness, out of the word madness. It is like a Shiva addict. You only see Shiva everywhere, in everyone, in everything, in every situation. And you only want to talk about that if there has to be any talk. Otherwise, you talk to him in your silence. So beautiful. Anyone else wants to sing or say something? Hello. Yeah. Go ahead. Yes, I can hear you.
Jyoti Swarupa Purnavatar Jyoti Swarupa Purnavatar Baba Pujwala Ramaneshwara Baba Pujwala Ramaneshwara Atma Rama Mahabhaga Atma Rama Mahabhaga Purushottama Ramaneshwara Purushottama Ramaneshwara Tapomaya Timirhara Tapomaya Timirhara Mahotsaha Ramaneshwara Mahotsaha Ramaneshwara Trigunatita Sukumara Trigunatita Sukumara Kripa Purna Ramaneshwara Kripa Purna Ramaneshwara Jyoti Swarupa Purnavatara Pavat Ujjvala Ramaneshwara Pavat Ujjvala Ramaneshwara.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. So beautiful. Very nice. Dana, you want to say something?
Namaste, Namaste Sanjay. I'm very happy that today there's a friend of Anya from Arunachala here with me in Crete Island. And it's possible that we share this, your not your teaching, we share your beingness. I'm connected to you since 1 year or so when Shakti and I was living here, and we found you, or you found us, Ramana found us through you, correct? Maybe. And we are so blessed. We feel so blessed and in total gratitude. That's another possibility to tell you. Thank you. Yes. We would like to sing Arunachala Shiva, just a few. Yes, just a request. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Steve, do you want to say something? Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yes, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to go back just, if I could, to the remember part. I'll read something that I wrote 40 years ago in my little spiritual writings and stuff, like read the other day, the pursuit of pleasure will impoverish you, which it will. But then I forgot it for about 30 years, and then I remembered it again. And I noticed I bought the classic 1971 hippie spiritual book called Be Here Now, which is about the best title you could come up with in 8 letters. And I noticed that if you look at it, the pages are all sort of the kind of thing that some people out on a commune would write. Anyway, the main thing on it, there's a mandala, and it's got remember, 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 remember. So there are little hints. Yeah, it may be reversed, but it's 4 on every side. There's all the little funky mandala stuff, but also the word remember. Anyway, it's if you look, I mean, they don't really. I'm surprised that people don't emphasize it more. Spiritual teachers, because it's like Nisargadatta said, the secret of success is to remember what needs to be remembered. And it's like you think, well, I'll remember that, and then you'll forget it, but you won't notice that you forgot it. So I just wanted to kind of affirm the part about remembering and how crucial that is, which is why we're all here today, to remind each other and why we read things and do things and contemplate and so forth. So that's it. I just wanted to I just noticed that one day. Remember. Oh, okay. And like I say, then I forgot it. So
today's satsang name is Remember That. Remember that. What? Remember.
Yeah.
Remember.
Yeah, remember.
Beautiful. Yes, Ellen, you want to say something? You have to unmute yourself. Hello,
Can
Ellen.
you hear me? Thank you.
Yes, yes.
I think isn't it the idea that we are removed from our ignorance and we remember who we really are, like a child of God, and our essence is our soul and our spirit, or like you were talking about our Shiva nature. So I think, wasn't that what Ram Dass was referring to? You heard me, right? Did you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Right, that's you. Thank you.
We heard
everyone.
you, and we heard your silence also. Yes, Maya.
Hi, Sanjay.
Hello.
Good evening. I want to read something that's actually a bit funny, and it's in Bhagwan's words. It's very short.
Mhm.
When I was in Virupaksha cave, I was sitting in the open on a cold morning. It was very cold. I could see people coming to see me, darshan, and quietly go away. Then a group of visitors came behind me, and suddenly I heard a sound, thak, and found water all over my head. They had broken a coconut and poured the water over me. I was shivering with cold, but they obviously thought it was worship, and they had taken me for a stone image, in Bhagwan's words. So, but it was quite funny.
Yeah, look, we put our beliefs and things to people. And I have to say, because of people's these weird habits, Bhagwan's body has to suffer a lot. You know, in Bhagwan times, they used to give diksha. Diksha means they used to give some food to Bhagwan or some flowers or a garland. And in lieu of getting that diksha, Bhagwan used to go for Girivalam, doing around the mountain. He used to walk around with that family or that person. And this is what I'm trying to explain, that even the devotees don't have that sensitivity and compassion. Sometimes it was like consecutive 2 days, 3 days that he is going for that roundabout Arunachala hill. And Bhagwan used to walk very slow, because he used to say you should walk like a heavily pregnant female, very slowly. So it took him almost whole night to go around the hill, and then in the daytime just the normal routine. And it was, the caretakers or the people who were living with him, they used to send these people back, like, Bhagwan can't do diksha today, he hasn't slept for 2 nights or 3 nights. So this is the thing, this egoistic devotees don't have compassion from that one which is sitting in cold and breaking the coconut on his head and pouring all the water in the cold. Bhagwan, when he had cancer and he had all these issues with his health, and people used to say, look, Bhagwan, why don't you, cure yourself? Or why don't you? He said, there is no mind to cure. But in the same breath, he said that all these afflictions have come from you people only. Like people are breaking their coconut, they're breaking their diseases on him. Take away my disease, take away this, someone has to take, someone has to take. Karmas, suffering, though it gives suffering to the body, and only ego thinks I am the body, so it suffers. But if you don't have I am the body idea, The body still suffers, though you might not say that you are suffering because you have no identification. And that was very true with Bhagavan. But people, for their own benefit to their body or mind or whatever, they give it to others, even to Bhagavan, you know. So we should never be a devotee like that. That is what is lesson for all of us, you know. Don't go there and give your all baggage to some god or Shiva or something. Take away from me, you know. Anika, you want to ask something? Yes, please ask. Where are you? Raise that hand, virtual hand. Unmute yourself. Namaste.
So I've been listening to the Ribhu Gita, and I know this is probably a silly question, but I get confused between I am the Shiva self and I am I'm losing it. I am. Sorry, I'm on medication, so I'm a little bit confused. But I'm the Atman. I am. Yeah, I need a little bit of an explanation on the Shiva self. As to the Brahman, I am the Brahman. I'm Brahman self, and then so my japa is I am the self Brahman, and then it's like, but then I listen to the Ribhu Gita, and it's also I am the Shiva self. So I mean, sorry, being a Westerner who hasn't grown up with that explanation in Hindi or anything, I am trying to develop, well, because it's also about love for Shiva and devotion and exploring who Shiva is to me. So I understand Arunachala, like I'm exploring everything about that, but I'm trying to understand it better. If you can help me out with that.
Yeah, look, there's nothing to be confused, because you were saying I am Shiva self, I am Ramana self, I am Brahman self. Self is only one, and you use the term Shiva or you don't use the term Shiva, or you use the term Brahman or Atman. You can say all these are name of the same essence in all of us, coming from Indian background and listening all the time and all the Vedanta and Puranas. So we call it Shiva. Some call it Brahman, some call it Atman, and Bhagavan used to call it Atman, self. Self means us. So there is no confusion. You can use any of these names or you don't use any name, doesn't matter. It is the same. There are not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of self. Self is same. In reality, it has no name. Name is given to a form. Thing which has no form, there is no name. But because we identify ourselves with a name and form, we give that also name and form. You might have seen Shiva in a form, We say Arunachala is Shiva. Everything is Shiva. not just Arunachala, all the hills, all the plants, all the animals, us. Essence is that. But because I am the body identity person, cannot comprehend formless. That's why we give a name and form. But there's nothing different than us. It is all self, all that pure true self. And I have to say, while I'm telling you this, that even your ego is Shiva, even this mind is Shiva. Everything is coming from the source. There is nothing which is separate or have separate existence. The issue is that any form which is coming out of it, rather than ourselves identifying with that source from which this all is projecting, if we identify only with the form, then we are in illusion. But if we identify ourselves with that Shiva, that self, Atman, which is the pure essence, then there is no illusion. But if you don't identify with that, but identify with mind only, then there is suffering. Because mind, if we think we are the mind keeps giving so many issues, That is why people get treatment for it, and they are upset, and they're upset with others, they're upset with themselves, All these things comes because of the issue that we think we are the mind. Today, someone was discussing with me about social anxiety and said someone's daughter had social anxiety and she can't leave home and she finds it very difficult to talk to strangers, lack of self-esteem, and feeling not capable of doing any conversation, and filled with negative thoughts and feelings. What is this? This is just a perfect example of identification only with the mind. People take medicines for it and psychotherapy for it. The best treatment is de-identification with this mind forever. Practice that. Look within and look if we have something else than mind in us, which well and truly can get rid of this mind, or we always have to suffer from whatever the mind is doing or saying or suggesting to us. Is there anything in us, in our structure, in which we can be perfectly contented and happy and peaceful? Even if nobody respects us, nobody wants to talk us, we don't have any quality or productivity to show to the society. Can we still be happy in that? Is there anything in us which can keep us happy without any attributes, without any qualifications? Can we be happy? Can we be happy without appreciation from people? Or we are dependent on society, and society when says that we are worth and we are good, then only we are good. So our goodness and our happiness, is it all dependent on people around us or society? Or we don't need anyone's approval to be happy? To know this, a book like Ribu Gita has not to be just read. Read as if you are speaking these words from your heart. whatever these terms you described is your own name. That witness, which is not playing any role, it is just witnessing the role played by the body, but never owns it, never says, I am the doer, I am doing, I have done it. Anyone who is unhappy with others, if you say, irrespective what part of the world, how they look, their religion or no religion, everyone says, I did this for this person, he never did this to me. What is this talk? This talk is about a business, what ego does. Ego always is selfishness in us, which always shows self-pity and I am good and others are bad and I always do for people. It gives importance to this small self in us, ego self, I call it. So you don't get confused with that Siva-Self or Brahman or Atman. That is never involved. That is only watching this show. We talk about love in this world a lot. Movies, songs, poetry, people. I love you, I love you. All this love is conditioned love, what we call love. You give me thing, I will love you. If you don't give me these things, I don't love you. Every relationship, partners, family, friends, if you don't get those things, we put conditions. Sometimes we speak out those conditions. Sometimes it is understood that in these conditions, this relationship is going on. So called that love is a conditioned love. Ego never gives anyone anything free. Unconditional love comes from Shiva. It never demands anything. Even if someone comes and kills you, you ask them to leave, otherwise police will apprehend you. You show compassion on your killer also. That is unconditional love. So the journey is big. The journey is tremendous. From such a low level of life which we live in this body, we have to attain that Shiva. I'm not against reading Ribu Gita, but when you read Ribu Gita, don't read Ribu Gita as Anika. Read Ribu Gita as Shiva. Don't think that someone has written, Sanjay has said read it, or someone has said read it, so I'm reading. That's not useful. Read it as you have written it. You are speaking and you are that Shiva. Then it will work for you.
So I've been reading it a lot and I've been taking it as a promise because it says, well, the caveat, I guess, is that when you read and understand, you will attain liberation. Okay, so I'm reading it as a promise because it's the closest thing I have to a promise. But every time I do read it, more and more I break it down. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm reading it as me, but it's for me at the moment, I find it's the greatest gift because, well, it's helping me to understand the journey of becoming free. And and yeah, it's oxymorons, and it's opposites, and it's not opposites, and it's an amazing thing. But the more I read it, the more it makes sense, and like I'm giving my heart over to it. You know, it's I don't know if that, like, I'm asking because I just don't know, like, in my practice or whatever, like, but daily, this is what I do, is I read and listen to the Ribugita a few times a day, and I try to practice it, and I try to, yeah, and I just
Very good. Continue doing it. Thank you. Hello, Anne.
Hello, Sanjay. Hello to everybody. It's the first time that I come here. And I've come because I want to thank you. Because you don't know that for the last time I'm walking with you every day. I had a stroke about 4 months ago, and I had a very deep experience. So what happened? The moment that I realized, or that my mind realized, that it would not be able to fix this problem, it stopped, it ended thinking completely. So from that moment, I was in a complete oneness with everything and with everybody.
Beautiful.
And yes, it was fantastic. So I stayed in that state for 3 hours. And it has done a very deep transformation within me. I'm a seeker for more years, and I come, let's say, from another tradition, because I've been reading a lot of Krishnamurti, and I love that and so much. But then afterwards I was listening to podcast, and one day you found me, or I found you, I don't know, but it was immediately, wow, this is it. Especially everything that has to do with silence. I can feel silence. That is it. That is it. So I feel you offer silence. I walk with you in silence. I listen to the podcast on my walks. I feel it. It transforms me deeper and deeper. I have no fear anymore. And I have to tell you, when I was in that state, when I had this stroke, there were no questions anymore. There was no doubt. There was only a very deep feeling of compassion and love and trust. And I could only say that afterwards. I was not saying that in that moment. In that moment, there was nothing at all. It was one big emptiness. It was one beauty, one vastness, one transforming vastness. It was working in the moment. It was doing its work within me, and it continued to do this work within me. So I feel that in a way, there's nothing to remember. When we are in this deep silence, that is it. And that's enough.
Very true. Very true.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Remembrance is when the silence is not becoming natural. Then we have to remember. But once we abide in silence, there's nothing to remember. Very true. Because if you look into remembrance of all these memories, people say, I had beautiful memories, I have bad memories. I don't think people will like what I would like to say, but all these memories are fake. Let's say two people go to the same party 10 years ago and they meet after 10 years. One can say, oh, that was such a beautiful, enjoyable, memorable party. I can never forget. And the other one can say, that was the worst moment of my life. It depends how you take that event, you know. So they both are talking their conditioned mind. This is what our memories are. Our memories, good or bad or whatever they are all complete lie. In our life, whatever our age, 40, 50, 60 years, life has shown so many things we don't remember. Whatever our conditioning remembers, we just know that is our memory. If you don't remember much, it is not difficult. If you remember or don't remember, nothing is that important. I'll tell you a very good example. Today I saw a patient who is going through some health issues. One of them is cognitive decline. His memory is declining. He's a very nice man, very humble, beautiful man. And I know him for a long time, not as a patient, but patient's husband for more than 10 years. And recently he had a colon cancer. And his wife said, I was stressed, but he was so peaceful because he does not remember anything. He said, what to remember? She is telling me, you have cancer. I said, okay, I got it. Anything else? She said, you need treatment. I will go for treatment. Anything else? He said, I'm so happy. I'm so blissful. So it is just our own mindset which gives us conditioning, and then we suffer, and then we are happy. And if there is no mind, then no remembrance, no memory, nothing. It's only silence. It's peace. We enter into the domain of Atman, Brahman, in which there's nothing to hold on to. And we are free from the mind's affliction. It's so beautiful to listen to you, and so good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. I really very much appreciate everything that you have been sharing, and without knowing where it goes, where it travels in the world, in this universe, and it has reached me, and I'm very thankful for that. Thank you so much.
So happy with you. So happy to know your story. I think we all are fortunate to listen to your story. From suffering arises the blessing, you know. So beautiful blessing. Thank you.
Yeah. And there's nothing to be fearful for in this life.
Nothing to be fearful. And I have to add here that this fearlessness is the quality of this Shiva nature in us. And it also connects us with everything. We are more connected with everything. And we are more open with everything. There's nothing to hide, no personal stories to carry.
Yes.
So
we don't need to know each other's personal stories to feel this unconditional love so deeply. So we are so connected.
Very
so
true.
Beautiful.
Very true. Very true. Steve, have you raised your hand again? I don't know, but probably yes. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a book that I read about 10, 15 years ago that Anne's journey reminded me of, and it's entitled My Stroke of Insight by this woman who's my Stroke of Insight. And this is about a brain scientist. And I read it because I'm a neuropsychologist, and so I have an affinity for this. And she says here, and this is a little bit about what I got out of Anne's speaking. She says, today, the author is convinced that the stroke was the best thing that could have happened to her. It has taught her that the feeling of nirvana is never more than a mere thought away. So this is not necessary, but just I was thinking if you might want to get another person's perspective on what has happened to you, not that you need to, but sometimes you can sort of, oh, that's what that is. Like a guy I know was doing all these crazy things and he finally went to AA and then he said, oh, I just found I was an alcoholic. So I got it now. So this might help you just kind of understand a little bit more about what's happened to you. And you might get, oh, that's what that meant. And it's just, I don't know, just enjoy this experience. It's kind of strange. Enjoy a stroke. Enjoy the aftermath of something that's normally considered quite devastating. So again, if you're interested, My Stroke of Insight by Jane Bolte Taylor.
Maybe Anne can look into it, but Anne is her own story. She does not need any other evidence for it, And,
Right.
and she has shared beautiful story. Yeah. So nice. That the power of that Arunachala, that somehow it all started with beautiful stories. Anyone else wants to share a story or ask something? Yes, Robert, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Talking about remembering today is a great theme. So, and not giving importance to the I, do you have sort of some simple, when you're in your consultations with patients, do you have simple rules by which you avoid the term I, you avoid giving criticism? Do you have, are there things that we can be doing to remember? Because I find actually the hardest thing to do is not to slip back into, oh, I don't like that person, or the I, me, mine, and then criticisms and watching movies and falling into the melodrama is probably the hardest thing every day. So I was wondering if you had some suggestions how to remember.
Look, I think in life, if you see, everything is coming from the same source. So there is no stranger coming to see you. There is no other entity comes and talks to you. Though you can say you can be the businessman and there might be a customer, or you are an employee and there can be an employer, or whatever the relationship or situation is, it's springing from the same source. It has the same energy. It has the same purpose. You just have to understand that every situation, moment in life is the most important moment. This moment is the most important, the way it is happening. This insight we get in witnessing, nothing else. So you treat then everything in front of you as the most important, whether it's a person or a plant or an insect or some dealing, or you are 100% there in that awareness, 100%. There is no scope for any thought to percolate and take you away into judging this person or taking you to the party you have to attend at night or what happened yesterday, because there is nothing. more important than this moment. There's only present moment. Past and future are both unreal, only exist in our thoughts. They have no existence. So if you come across someone and you're dealing, and if you are judging, analyzing, criticizing, liking, disliking, you're picking up from your mind and thoughts and old conditioning and then putting in front of that person. And there is something in us which makes us realize that this person doesn't like me or he's judging me, even when you don't say any word. We call it vibes or frequency. And sometimes some people click and some don't click. And both ways it's not good. Whether clicking, not clicking, there's nothing to click, just stay as awareness. If it clicks, it clicks. It doesn't click, doesn't click. But no conditioning. Don't judge. Because, even if you see the ego has this mind and all these things to protect this body from other bodies, as if there is a constant threat. It's like a threat thing, amygdala, that we have a threat detection system in our body. But what Anne was saying, the moment you touch that your pure beingness, you become fearless. Because killing this body is not end of me, because I am not this, I am you also. To kill me, you have to kill yourself and you have to kill everyone, and still I will not be killed. It's like that. But it's not any intellectual understanding or a concept. You know it. That awareness makes you know the moment you merge in it. And you don't have to remember anything or you have to remind yourself. It is just whatever it is, it is. Everything comes out of it. Even the people who dislike us comes out of us. Who like us comes out of us. Our mind projects everything outside. If you understand this truth, then how can you blame others for your own suffering? Those others are coming from you only. So, it is 100% rest to the mind. 100% rest. I know nowadays there are so many teachers, spiritual teachers who said you can change the world, you can do this. So I don't know, that might be helping people. Maybe it is helping people who have lack of self-confidence, giving them self-confidence. But it is not giving them Atman, Brahman's darshan, Shiva's darshan. For Shiva darshan, you have to finish this story. You have to melt away. You have to be like dust, finish. And then be in that space and dance. Dance like Shiva's dance. And then only you can dance. Otherwise, you will be just in your own mind, going in and out of your own conditioned thoughts. It's like a cage. It's very suffocating. It is not a pure energy. It's impure air caged in the mind. Be fresh. Whatever comes, let it come. Whatever goes, let it go. Be in that openness. Practice to be in that openness, and then everything will be fine. We don't have to follow any points to meet people. That's again part of the mind. I should behave like this, or I should do. I don't know. It will behave in its own way, and I believe whatever way it will sort out things. Leave it to it. Leave it to that energy. Let it dance through you. Let it manifest. Let it do. Don't decide anything. Don't have fixed conceived ideas, because mind always wants everything to be perfect and this way, and I should behave like this. I should wear tie. I should look smart. Whatever will happen, And leave it. Leave it for that to sort that out. It is a beautiful energy. Trust it. Give 100% freedom for it to express through you. You just move out of it. Give it space. Give peace a chance. And trust this energy. As Anne was saying, even in the time of a stroke and all what happened to her, she touched pure silence. Even a stroke is not a big price to pay to attain that nirvana. It is so beautiful. Actually, I am so humbled listening to everyone that everyone is so deep in that. At least everyone is trying their best to be that. This is so beautiful. Wherever you live, whatever you do, whatever the circumstances, there's some grace working to keep you there. It is so beautiful. Alicia, do you want to ask something?
Namaste Sanjay ji. Namaste all. Om Namo Ramanaya. Actually, I'm here to thank you. Thank you so much for all the satsang videos. Because whenever I have some questions and I send you an email, I get that reply in your videos, in your podcast. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I have to say this so many times. I hear that people say, I thought about a question and I wanted to write to you, and then as soon as I opened the video, this was the question and that was the answer and everything sorted. Now, look, people can say it is coincidence or, it is good luck. There is your own longing brings you the right answer at right time, at your doorstep. So, this is all that pure Shiva in us which wants to manifest, and it gives everything at your doorstep, gives you everything, provides you everything, So good to hear that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Arunachal Ramanaya. Om Shanti, Shanti. It was such a good session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for sharing.